What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Last time, we started getting into the Android saga. Not only did we get to see the fighters from the future, but we also got to see what happened because of them time traveling. Cell eventually came to the past. And as everyone else is looking to defeat the androids, Cell's looking to absorb them. However, they haven't been activated yet, so it's a test of time to see who gets there first, and it seems like Cell may have the upper hand. For this part, let's hit a like goal of 3,000 likes. Once we hit that, I'll continue with another part to this series. Anyways, let's pick it from here. So last time, we left off with Cell realizing his plan. No one actually knows where the androids were. He's the only one who actually knows the location of the lab. Everyone right now is just searching aimlessly, but he knows exactly where to go. So it's a pretty simple task for him. All he has to do is go over to the lab. He immediately starts rushing over there. Not wanting to risk anything, so he powers up. This means everyone else senses him, realizing that he's actually near them. They don't know what this power is, but it's pretty terrifying, and they decide to go check it out. Of course, they're not going to catch up to him. He's so fast that he gets to the lab before they can even tell where he's going. And just as he suspected, he sees two androids there, in their pods still. As for our group of fighters, they all desperately try to find where this guy was going. They don't know who this was, but his power was really strong and somewhat familiar. It seems that he's stationary now, so they begin chasing him down, knowing his location. But as they get closer and closer, they sense two power-ups from him, scared to see what's happening, and the power is something they've never felt before. The scale of it is something that they can't even comprehend. They eventually get to the mountain where Jiro's lab is, scared to even go in, not knowing what awaits them. But there's no need. Instead of them going in, someone comes out to greet them. It's a green bug-looking man, some sort of weird monster. He introduces himself. He's Cell, now in his perfect form. They don't know who he is, why he's here, or why he's so strong, but Cell begins to explain. He realizes that they might be a bit lost, so he gives a little bit of his biography. Similar to the other androids, he was created by Jiro, but he's different. He begins to explain. There's no need for him to keep a secret anyways, and since they're about to die anyways, he may as well tell them. Those androids they were looking for, he was doing the same, and by going to Jiro's lab, he was able to absorb them before they could kill them. So in a way, yes, the androids are dead, but Cell's now here, in his perfect form, and he's a much bigger problem. The group has no idea what to do now. This guy is an enemy, and there's no way they can defeat him. They're absolutely screwed, and there's no way out of this either. They can't escape because Cell's got them right where he wants them. They walked right into their deaths, and Cell laughs, lifting a single hand up, charging a blast. But then, he lowers his hand. He asks where Goku is, wondering why he's not with them. He tells them not to lie either. He'll know if they're lying and he'll kill them if they do. So, they explain. Goku's sick right now. That's why he's not with the group. Since he's ill with the heart virus, he couldn't go out with them. And this gets Cell to hesitate. Well, he wants to kill Goku, that is his main target. He wouldn't mind killing all his friends, but still. First of all, what is the point if he doesn't kill Goku too? Second of all, there's no fun in this. If he just kills them now, what's the point? He thinks a bit, and decides he may as well show a bit of mercy. Cell tells the group it's their lucky day. Not only will he wait for Goku to wake up, but he'll let them train a bit, giving them some time to prepare for a tournament. Yes, a tournament. He's planning the Cell Games. The whole point of this is so that he can have some fun and give them some time to train so they can get a little bit stronger. He doesn't think it'll be enough to defeat him, but it might be enough to help make the tournament more fun. And it means he gets to see Goku and fight him, which is what he really wants. So, he leaves them as is, with the group dumbfounded as he flies off. Well, that was kind of a stroke of luck, but still, they don't know how they're supposed to defeat this guy. Sure, it's great that he didn't kill them on the spot, but even if they do train for a couple days, what difference is that going to make? They're not too sure. And they begin desperately looking around the lab trying to find a way to defeat Cell. Maybe they could find some blueprints. Maybe he has something built into him. Well, they find blueprints for Android 17 and 18, which could be helpful for the future warriors, assuming they survive and are able to go back to their timeline. If they use this, they can blow up the androids there, but it won't really help here. They keep looking around and find out that there's actually another android. And he's not a cyborg like the other two from the future timeline. No, he's actually a full robot. Weird, but whatever. They decide to destroy him right away, until Krillin jumps in front of them. Maybe instead, they could reprogram him. They're asking why not destroy him right now, and Krillin explains, if they take this guy to Bulma, maybe they can reprogram the android. I mean, he is a full robot after all, and they have all his blueprints and everything else. Bulma could probably work something out from it. If she was able to make a time machine in the future from some scraps, she should be able to reverse engineer an android and reprogram him, especially since he's a full robot and not a cyborg like the other two. That might actually work, so they decide to take Krillin's word for it, taking Android 16 to Bulma's place. This guy might actually be pretty strong, and if they reprogram him, they have another fighter. That could really help them out a lot. Plus, Goku ends up waking up right after, and they have to catch him up to speed. He's a bit concerned, but also interested. This sounds like it could be some fun, and they wonder why he's so calm about it. He tells them, even if they only have a few days, he knows a way to get a year's worth of training within one day. They don't know what he's talking about, but he explains, the Room of Spirit and Time. If everyone goes in to train, well, they may actually have a chance. He doesn't know for sure, but it's at least worth a shot. And now, it's time to group up the fighters. They're trying to decide who goes in when, and who goes in with who. And with them doing that, I feel like it would go like this. First, Vegeta and Trunks would want to go in together, going in for a year. Goku would then go in with the two Gohans. This would mean they'd have less food for a year, so they'd only be in for about 8 months, but Goku thinks that's enough, especially since they'd have an extra training partner with them. Right after them, Piccolo and the two Cargos would go in. Unlike the Saiyans, food isn't a problem with Namekians. As long as they have enough water, the 3 Namekians can be in there for a year and they won't need to eat at all. So they won't have to shorten their time in the time chamber. And you know, this actually makes the group a bit more confident. They have their strongest fighters training for at least a year. Well, not Goku and the two Gohans, but everyone else will be training. Plus, it kills 2 birds with 1 stone. With the future warriors training, that means they'll be stronger when they go back. Sure, they do have the self-destruct remote now as a backup plan. But this training also means they could fend off the androids in the future with pure strength. That remains to be seen though. First, they'll actually need to train. As for Vegeta, he sticks with what he wanted to do in the last part, trying to improve Wrathful somehow, planning on combining it with Super Saiyan. During their training, he and Trunks begin working on that. As of now, Super Saiyan's pretty strong. The issue is, they only just learned about it. They have access to it, but they realize it's very draining on stamina. As for Wrathful though, it is a weaker form, but it's a lot less taxing on the body. Vegeta and Trunks spend some of their time trying to get a better grasp on Super Saiyan. Not really going on the path of mastering it, but just getting good enough with it so it doesn't take up as much stamina. But really their main focus is trying to combine the two forms. Vegeta believes that maybe they could combine the power of Wrathful and Super Saiyan together. He's not sure what would happen if they do, but he knows it'll be strong, if it's possible. But in order to do that, they may have to go backwards a bit, going to Great Ape instead of trying to use Wrathful. They are pretty good with Wrathful now, well, mainly Vegeta is. Trunks is still learning it, but either way they have a good grasp on it. But as for Great Ape, it's a lot easier for them to control, since it's basically the first thing that they've been working with. Now that I mention it, would Trunks' Great Ape be like purple or something? I'm sure there's gonna be someone in the comments asking me to make it purple. So you know what? I'm predicting right now. For the one guy in the comments that's gonna request a purple Great Ape, here you go. I'll do it just for you. You're welcome, and now you owe me a favor. Anyways, the two of them begin training with this, trying to combine it with Super Saiyan somehow. And over the next year, they both get a lot stronger. Next, Goku and the two Gohans go in. Instead of working on trying to combine the two forms, they're working purely on Super Saiyan, seeing if they can control that somehow. Even though they only have 8 months as opposed to a year, they can still make really good use of it. Future Gohan has more knowledge of Super Saiyan than anyone, and with Goku's great mind for battle, they can come up with some really good techniques, allowing them to develop Super Saiyan a lot faster. This works for both the Gohans and Goku. Eventually, the 3 of them are able to master the form, using it without any stamina loss at all. Sure, Vegeta and Trunks may be able to combine the two forms, combining Super Saiyan with Great Ape, and it is pretty strong, but Goku feels that controlling Super Saiyan may be better. They'll have to wait until the fight with Cell though. They'll see then which one is truly superior. Next, the two Cargos go in with Piccolo. A lot of the time is spent focusing on present Cargo. Piccolo sees the great potential in future Cargo, and decides it's good to get an early start with this one. I'll also say that Cargo probably won't grow up just yet. Even with the year in the time chamber, it's still going to take a bit of time. You'll see an aged version of present Cargo in the next part though, but for this part, he's going to remain small, although still pretty powerful. Anyways, they get really strong with their training too. But Piccolo will probably be a little bit weaker than he was in the main series, because he hasn't fused with Kami yet. Without the androids running around, they didn't really see any need to. But maybe now with Cell here, Kami feels it's a good time to fuse. Plus, they have Dende just in case. He's had more than enough training and he could be Earth's guardian with no issues. Kami knows his time will come soon anyways. He's getting really old and this is the best thing he could do. He hopes Piccolo uses this power and wisdom well, as the two fuse into each other, reuniting once more. And now, it seems like everyone's ready for the Cell games. They have a few more days, so some of them rest and some of them continue their training. But otherwise, they're all ready. The Cell games arrive, and the first person to actually face off against Cell is Vegeta. He's really confident about his strategy, and immediately, he throws up an artificial moon. Ah, Cell knows exactly what this is. How primitive. He's going to be using his Great Ape form. Shouldn't he be using that Wrathful form that they've been using? Or better yet, whatever that golden hair form is? Ah, whatever. This'll just make it easier for Cell. Funny enough, Cell could probably access that power too, but he thinks it's kinda useless at this point. Keep this in mind though. Vegeta looks up at the moon, and instead of going into Wrathful, he goes right into Great Ape. Cell chuckles. Doesn't this also make Vegeta a bigger target? What a stupid mistake. But Vegeta also laughs at this notion, as he then begins powering up while in his Great Ape state. The entire arena begins shaking. As the brown fur on Vegeta changes to gold, he's become a golden Great Ape. Impressing everyone there, this is a huge boost in power. Vegeta doesn't have perfect control over it, but is still really strong and it could be helpful. Also, it does make him a bigger target, but still, he feels the power is more than enough. It took him a while to get the hang of this. He was able to access it pretty early on, but gaining control was the real hard part. But it doesn't matter though, he goes right into battle with Cell. Of course, with Vegeta being such a big target, Cell's able to land hits on him really easily, but when Vegeta lands a hit, it's devastating, slamming a fist down onto Cell, kicking him, whacking him with his tail. Vegeta's attacks land really easily too, and that's just his melee attacks. His beams are huge now, not to mention much stronger. Cell's able to regenerate, but he does take a lot of damage from this. He didn't expect Vegeta of all people to be this strong. Sure, he knew he was a formidable opponent, but not like this. Fine, he may as well even the playing field a little bit. And with the artificial moon still up in the air, Cell looks up at it, trying to access that same anger that they use in their Wrathful form. Since they have it, he should have it too, and he does. Vegeta is kind of pissing him off after all, so he may as well make some good use of that anger. He tries to tap into the Wrathful form, powering up as he does so. He doesn't change much physically, the only noticeable difference is his eyes, but other than that, he's grown a lot stronger. And that's how they know it actually worked. This actually makes the fight a lot more even. And with Vegeta's massive size, Cell is able to kind of overcome him. And while this form is kind of hard to control, we know that Cell can learn remarkably fast. I mean, you saw what he did with instant transmission. He'd probably do the same here, learning how to control the form really quickly, getting better during battle. Using this, he decides to weaken Vegeta, going right for his tail. He chops off the tail, succeeding in it. Vegeta powers down, going back into his regular form. Without a tail, he can't go into Great Ape, meaning he can't use his golden Great Ape. This makes him a lot weaker, and Cell knocks him out with one hit. He's pretty injured, but still alright. As long as no one's stronger than Vegeta, he'll be okay. The next one to fight him is Goku, in Mastered Super Saiyan. Goku is a bit concerned, but still feels like he can do some damage. If not, there's always Gohan, who does seem to have a lot of potential in this battle. Maybe he'll be the one to defeat Cell, but Goku gives it his all, trying to fight all out. And while Mastered Super Saiyan is pretty strong, he begins thinking during the fight. Vegeta is on a good path. Combining Super Saiyan with Great Ape was really helpful. Goku's losing ground really quickly. With Cell's new power-up, he's a lot stronger. He would have been stronger against Goku anyways, but this makes the gap even wider. Goku's thinking on his feet, and decides maybe he can try what Vegeta was doing. The thing that Vegeta didn't have was mastery over Super Saiyan. He did have mastery over the Great Ape form and Wrathful, but Super Saiyan is a different thing. Goku has an advantage. He has mastery over both forms, and that might help him, although he doesn't really know how to combine the two. If he goes into Golden Great Ape, he may lose all control. But whatever, it's worth the risk. He's pushed to his limit by Cell. As Goku then transforms too, going into the same Golden Great Ape form that Vegeta was using. Cell looks up, pretty happy to see this. Just like Vegeta, this will be interesting to fight, or at least he assumes so. He notices that Goku doesn't have control. Unlike Vegeta, Goku's just rampaging randomly. But still, he's in there somewhere, trying to regain control, trying to stop this rampage. He begins getting hit more and more by Cell, taking a lot of damage. But something catches his eye. He sees the two Gohans calling over to him, trying to make him focus. Goku was even about to attack them, just attacking blindly, but with the two Gohans distracting him, Goku finally regains some of his consciousness, overcoming the blind rampage of the Great Ape. And something changes. Instead of him being controlled like Vegeta was, he begins shrinking, no longer in his Great Ape form. They think he lost the power or something, but at least that's good. That means he'll be back to normal and they can get him out of the fight. But no, that's not the case. As he shrinks down, they see Goku there, looking very different from what he looked like before. Pushed to his limit by Cell, Goku has transformed once more, now in a new state of Super Saiyan. They're not too sure what this is, but it's definitely strong, they can tell that at least. It's the Wrathful form combined with the power of Super Saiyan. In the context of the scenario, let's call it Wrathful Super Saiyan. But to avoid any confusion, we'll refer to it as Super Saiyan 4, which is what it is. With this new power-up, Cell loses ground. Goku's incredibly powerful like this. Even Vegeta's surprised. He can't believe it. Kakarot surpassed him even though he wasn't doing the same thing. It must be because he mastered Super Saiyan and Vegeta didn't. Well, at least Trunks knows now for when he goes up to fight. Or if he goes up to fight. It doesn't really look like that because now Goku's getting the advantage. Seemingly he might be able to defeat Cell now. Even Goku doesn't know his own power. It's amazing. All he needs to do now is land an attack that erases every bit of Cell, enough to counter the regeneration. As for Cell himself, he's faced a lot of damage and is pretty drained from regenerating so much. He's being pushed into a corner and is getting desperate. But wait, he was able to unlock the Wrathful form, right? So maybe he could do whatever this is too. If he's backed far enough into a corner and figures out a way to do it, he may be able to. As he's being beat up more and more by Goku, Goku senses something weird. Cell has lost every bit of his sanity, brought to a point of extreme anger. And while in his new Wrathful state, he begins powering up even more, trying to tap into Super Saiyan somehow. He knows it has to be in there somewhere. This pure anger, he needs to take a hold of it and use it for power. Cell begins shouting, trying to access this. Goku knows he needs to prevent this somehow. He charges a Kamehameha, ready to launch it right at Cell. Whatever Cell's doing, it's working. His power is rising, and he's on the cusp of doing something new. Goku needs to end this quick. He launches the Kamehameha and makes a direct hit on Cell. The power of it is insane, and this should be the end of the fight, right? Well, Cell was able to survive, and as the blast dissipates, they're terrified at what they see. This is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this part, and what do you think will happen next time? Leave any thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like, and let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part of this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon and get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.